Government corruption has never been more prevalent or caused more harm. It's why extremism is on the rise. It's why the financial gap between the haves and have-nots has never been wider. And it's why our planet is at risk of an extinction level tragedy. That's why I need your help to keep exposing the truth about the rot on both sides of the aisle. Become a supporter or a friend of the show today by clicking on the coffee link in the description box below. Friends of the show join me on a Zoom hangout once a month, and you guys can ask me any questions you want, and I can get to know you better. But the most important reason to help is to keep the show alive. Together, we can and will save our country and our planet. Thanks in advance and enjoy the show. Hey everyone, welcome to the show. I have an update to share about one of Trump's Capitol insurrectionists. It's time for an episode of Where Are They Now?
Was arrested.
Patrick Montgomery was in court.
Jonathan Manapa will stay in federal custody.
No, I don't take responsibility at all.
So 21-year-old South Carolina resident Elliott Bishai was a cadet at the Citadel Military College when he entered the U.S. Capitol through a broken window. He also later entered a Senate conference room. But prior to entering the building, Bishai was heard on his own video yelling, quote, "Let's go, keep pushing, and Civil War II." So when the FBI searched Bishai's device, they found that video, and then they also found a huge stash of pro-Nazi and white supremacist material. The prosecutors said they found over 400 videos from some alt-right white supremacist named Paul Miller. And they say that Miller apparently uses this propaganda to promote a race-based second civil war. In addition, investigators found, quote, over 80 images that reflect Nazi and white supremacist ideologies. Now, Bishai says that he only had these images and videos because he thought they were funny. He claims that he doesn't agree with the content and the sentiments, but yeah, he thinks they're funny because Nazis and white supremacists are so funny, you guys. That's why we see so many Nazi stand-up comedians. Makes sense now, right? So Bishai was arrested on March 16th of last year. Unfortunately, he was only charged with entering a restricted building or grounds, 2 counts of disorderly conduct, and parading or demonstrating in a Capitol. In April of this year, Bishai pleaded guilty to the charge of entering a restricted building. And so he was looking at up to 1 year behind bars, up to 1 year of probation, and $100,000 in fines. Although the prosecutor only requested 30 days in jail, 1 year of probation, 60 hours of community service, and $500 in restitution. Bishai, of course, asked for a sentence of probation only. And his attorney told the court that Bishai had, quote, already paid dearly for his actions. In his sentencing memo, Bishai's attorney wrote, quote, defendant has already lost an opportunity to serve the United States Army as a pilot in the Army Warrant Officer Flight Program. That has been Elliott's lifelong dream, and his actions have already cost him dearly. Additionally, Elliott has also had his student pilot's license revoked by the Federal Aviation Administration in conjunction with the Transportation Safety Administration. I mean, aren't the Republicans always preaching about personal responsibility? Aren't they always talking about fuck around and find out? But you're not going to believe this part. Bishai hasn't been fired from his federally funded job. His attorney told the judge that his job, quote, will be waiting for him. He works in a position of public trust. Bishai has been a traveling firefighter in the U.S. Civilian Air Patrol. And according to Law & Crime news outlet, that's a federally funded or supported, at least, public entity. They're affiliated with the U.S. Air Force. So our tax dollars are paying this guy's salary still. Now, given what was found on his phone, why would you trust him to act in good faith with the public? I'm all for free speech, but go work in the private sector. You have that kind of shit on your phone, go work in the private sector. So Anyway, at his sentencing hearing, Bishai told the judge, quote, "I just want to say I do apologize. If there is some way I could make this entire thing not have happened, I would. But there's nothing I can do about it. It already happened. I just want to sincerely apologize to the nation and sincerely apologize to the court. Thank you for hearing me." Bishai pulled the short stick. He got one of the toughest judges around. U.S. District Judge Tanya Chutkan presided over his case. She was not moved by his words, let me just say. Judge Chutkan told him, quote, "I heard your remorse. I heard your apology. I hear many, many apologies. What strikes me in so many of these cases is the lack of acknowledgement of the terror inflicted on the people who were there doing their jobs that day. I haven't heard a lot of acknowledgement and compassion and sympathy for the people who were terrified, crying, hiding under their desks, calling their children, worrying about not being able to see them again. While I'm sure you wish none of this had ever happened, I wonder how much of that is because of what has happened to you." She didn't stop there. She went on to say, quote, "I think it's ironic. I believe strongly that you have gotten every single benefit of presumption of innocence, the criminal justice system, and the rule of law in this country. I can tell you this as an immigrant. I don't know of any place that does it better. The whole system you wanted to tear down on January 6th has given you all the presumptions and rights that you are entitled to under the same Constitution that you ignored that day. I hope that's not lost on you." She also called out more of his hypocrisy, saying, quote, "You need to consider how you could have done what you did and how you square that with your desire to serve this country. I don't understand how you looked those officers in the eye and you did what you did." And she told Bishai, quote, "I want you to re-examine the motivations that caused you to do what you did. Your political beliefs are entirely your own, but you may want to consider getting your information from a variety of sources in the future." With that, Judge Chutkan unfortunately sentenced Bishai to only 14 days in jail, 1 year of probation, and a $500 restitution fee. This was the first time she has not given the prosecutor, to my knowledge and recollection, everything that they've asked for, and I don't think this is going to cut it. This guy is of Middle Eastern descent, and he's carrying around over 400 white supremacist videos. That, to me, screams self-loathing. It screams radicalization. You know, as I always say, I could be wrong, but it's very rare. So prove me wrong, Bishai. Really. You know, I just don't see this as a deterrent for him. 14 days. Woo, big deal. And he's going to be off of probation during the next presidential election. We'll see, but I just feel very strongly we're going to see this guy again. So when and if I hear more, guys, I'll let you know. Thanks so much for watching and listening. Take care.